What's up? I swapped out my solid axle Dana 60 for independent suspension. Put away your pitchforks. Let me explain. Believe it or not, this used to be my daily driver all through high school. Shortly after high school, I added some Super Duty 1-ton axles under the thing, and then I wheeled it a ton. I joined the military, and on my last day of leave, I decided to do this. So I threw a tarp over it, and then I moved to Japan for a couple years. But thank God I did, because those 2 years overseas, I saved up my money and I built this. Video. That engine was a 545 cubic inch big block, and it's now in hibernation. But it's for a good reason. This came into my life. Let me clarify. Having a second Bronco meant that this one wasn't confused anymore. It had fiberglass quarter panels, but the suspension wasn't good enough to be a prerunner. So it was caught in this weird limbo of, am I a trail rig? Am I a prerunner? Swiss Army knife of nothing? Who knows? So now, the 1-tons went under the green Bronco, and I'm building this. Finally, a dedicated prerunner. I had always dreamed of putting TTB under one of these old Broncos. Originally, I attempted to use this cross member from a donor Bronco on a 78 and 79 frame, but I came to realize these frames have a lot more kick, and they also narrow towards the front compared to the 78 and 79 frame, which are very straight. This is done so you have a lot more up travel before the beams come in contact with the frame. Now you could pie cut the frame and angle it up more and do a whole lot of fabrication, but it was easier at that point to just find a donor chassis, and that gave me more bolt-in steering options. So I found a donor Bronco, and then I very gently disposed of the body. The front beams were made by Andrew Cho of OhhCho Fab, and they're 4.5 inches wider per side. They're fully fabricated housing. They're not made off of a cut and turn stock TTB beam. As far as the center section, I'm actually going to be running a Dana 50, and that has a bigger 9-inch ring and pinion compared to the Dana 44. Along with that, I bought some RCV shafts. Overall, is this thing gonna be as tough as a Dana 60? No, but that's not what it's intended for. By the time this thing's all said and done, it should pull around 21 to 22 inches of suspension travel. All that travel will be controlled by these 3.5 inch by 16 King 6-tube bypasses with finned resis, as well as some 2.5 inch Bumpstops. The rear end has been shaved and trussed. It's a 9-inch with 35 spline chromo shafts. The center section is actually an ex-NASCAR center section. That's not the rear end that I'm gonna run forever. It really needs a full floater. The rear suspension is a 64-inch spring under leaf kit from Richer Racing. What's kind of cool about them is they actually use a uniball for their rear shackle swinger. A lot of people would say, why the fuck didn't you link it? You know, you went all through this pain in the ass of chassis swapping it, why not link it? It comes down to a budget. It's a big step up to go through and link it. But also, you don't see that much of a benefit with a stock wheelbase Bronco. Because on these Broncos, you're really limited by your driveline angle. I'm going to be running a C6, which is a pretty short driveline length. So I should be able to pull 21, 22 inches of suspension travel from bump to strap. To really see the benefits of linking it, you're gonna have to chop the frame and extend the wheelbase a good 12 inches or so. This build has definitely been on the back burner, but I'm stoked to start getting on it. Put an engine in it, tranny, transfer case, get it all fabbed up, and slap a body on this thing so we can start making some progress. If you made it through this whole video, thank you. Hopefully you can follow along so you can watch me get some shit done on this finally. Get my ass back in gear, get back to work. Maybe. I've had it for too long, I can't not finish it.